You know that feeling, right? That deep frustration when you're trying so hard to get your health on track, but the numbers they just don't want to cooperate. It feels like you're stuck, fighting something you can't even see.
Well, this is a story about exactly that. It's about a guy named Tom. And for Tom, every single morning started the same way. In a dim room, just staring at a number on his glucose monitor. And that number, it felt less like information and more like a final judgment. He was stuck on a blood sugar roller coaster. And honestly, he was just tired of the ride. Every single day, Tom would wake up to high blood sugar. It was this morning spike that just set the tone for the entire day, a tone of exhaustion and defeat. It was this relentless, frustrating cycle, and he felt completely and utterly powerless to stop it. But then, one day, something just shifted. That desperation that was weighing him down started to change. It turned into this quiet, steely determination. He decided he was done just reacting. It was time to understand, to take the wheel, and to start driving his own story. So Tom set off on what he started calling his 6-month expedition. And this wasn't just another diet, It was a real quest, a mission to become the world's leading expert on the one subject that mattered most, his own body. For 6 whole months, he became a detective. He wrote down everything. He watched the numbers, but not with fear anymore. He watched them with curiosity. And slowly, little by little, out of all that information, the first clues started to pop up, and they pointed him toward a very surprising culprit. His first major breakthrough was this aha moment. He realized there was this incredibly strong connection between his last meal of the day and that frustrating number he woke up to every single morning. He started seeing a pattern, and fast. When he ate something like pizza for dinner, super high in both carbs and fat, it was like this shadow that hung over him all night long. His blood sugar would spike up and then just stay there, leading to that high reading in the morning. So he started experimenting. Instead of the pizza, he tried a completely different kind of meal, a colorful, vibrant quinoa salad. And the difference? Oh, it was like night and day. There was no heavy cloud, no long drawn-out spike, just a gentle, stable night of real rest. So why did it work so well? Well, it turns out the secret was in the ingredients. The quinoa salad was just packed with complex carbs, fiber, and protein. This amazing combination meant that the glucose was released slowly, steadily, all through the night. No sudden rush, no morning battle. It was an absolute game changer. But food was only one piece of the puzzle. Tom's next big discovery was all about movement. He figured out that exercise wasn't just about burning calories. For his body, it was like a magic key that actually unlocked his cells, making them way more ready to use sugar for energy. On days he didn't work out, his average morning number would hover right around 115. And he could feel it too, that familiar, sluggish feeling. His body just wasn't running as efficiently. But on the mornings after he did a workout, wow, the average dropped all the way to 95. That's a 20-point difference. And he didn't just see it on the monitor, he felt it. He woke up energized, clear-headed, and finally in control. That was the power of making his body more sensitive to its own insulin. And here's the really cool part. It didn't have to be some crazy, grueling workout. A brisk walk, a little strength training, some cardio, any kind of consistent movement made a huge, remarkable difference. Okay, so Tom had cracked the code for food and for movement. But there was still one last piece of the puzzle missing. He was about to discover this completely natural process that was happening inside his body every single morning, without him even knowing it. It's something called the dawn phenomenon. Basically, between about 3 and 8 in the morning, our bodies release certain hormones that act like a natural alarm clock. This tells our liver to send out a little bit of glucose, a little bit of sugar, to give us the energy to wake up. For most of us, it's just a gentle nudge. But for Tom, it was adding fuel to that morning fire. So understanding this wasn't about fighting his own body, it was about working with it. By using a continuous glucose monitor, or a CGM, and looking at the data in his journal, he could see the pattern plain as day. And with that information, he worked with his doctor to time his medication perfectly, meeting that natural rise head on, and just smoothing it all out. So, after 6 months of detective work, of curiosity, and all these little experiments, what did Tom's morning finally look like? It looked like this: a stable, healthy 92. No spike, no roller coaster. Just
calm.
That dimly lit room was gone. In its place was a bedroom just flooded with morning sunlight. And that look of frustration, it had vanished, replaced by a smile of real, genuine peace. He hadn't just changed a number. He had rewritten his entire morning.
And that, right there, is the real heart of his journey. This wasn't about some magic pill or secret trick. It was about a shift in mindset, from being a passive patient to being an active scientist, curious, patient, and empowered by the data of his own life.
Tom's story really shows us that understanding is the true key to being in control. And it leaves all of us with a pretty powerful question. What mysteries in your own life are you ready to solve? What could you discover if you became the curious scientist of your story?